Well, you're all what you heard. I'm a real nerd. People say I'm a fool, but they never got the news that I'm a wild one. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. You better turn it up, better keep the channel down, 'cause you're watching Wild Mike and his real wild child. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. You better turn it up, better keep the channel down, 'cause you're watching Wild Mike and his real wild child.
Well, howdy, folks. This is Vile Mike here. Hopefully, Katty shows up because, yes, she is now 21 years old. She can legally drink on the CNA stream.
You mean she can legally drink in America on the CNA stream?
Yeah, it's true. In America.
Yeah, she can go to Canada or Mexico.
But I was trying to get her to join me, but she was like, yeah, I might want to sleep in. Plus, I'm not feeling good. So we'll see if she actually shows up.
Dude, she's not my kid, but look what you just said. Might show up, sleep. I'm like, doesn't wake up till 10 o'clock. It's your kid.
Or
Come
11
on,
if
you
I
should know
decide to go
this.
longer.
Yeah, you should know this.
Yes,
by now.
Daddy Liar, you know that. And how you doing, Jordan?
I didn't see the chat.
What's funny, Daddy Lion, is I tell Mrs. Vile how prior to 9/11, I was going down to Mexico to drink, and I wasn't even 15. Because back then they did not care. As long as you could see over the bar, they would serve you, and as long as you paid, they'd keep serving you.
Exactly. And you give the bartender or the waiter $1, American dollar, and they'll be very nice to you.
So 18 or 19, yeah.
On the province.
What's funny is
here it's national.
I don't quote me on this, but I think it is legal for certain soldiers to drink on certain military bases abroad. But I don't quote me on that.
I think that's Germany, Berlin. That
is it Germany?
Soldiers, I believe American soldiers could drink at 19 in Germany.
Because if I'm remembering the story correctly, that's the story my dad told me when he was in the military in Germany. So yeah, that's what's funny about you saying Germany. NB, you were in the military. Can you confirm?
What are we referring to?
Okay, so
they in Germany, Stuttgart, and there's another one. Oh,
Italy.
God. No. I'm not talking about Italy. I'm talking about in Germany.
I know the one in Berlin. Yeah.
Ramstein. We have a base in Ramstein. We have the Ramstein, and we have Stuttgart.
Ramstein. That's where Alan was.
We have bases in Okinawa, Iwakuni. We have bases.
Okay, no. Hold on. But the question was, Katty turned 21 this week.
Okay.
And we were saying about, in Canada and Mexico, she would be able to drink regardless. But I remember my dad telling me a story when he was stationed in Germany that on the American base in Germany, soldiers could still drink even if they weren't 21.
Yes, that was true.
Okay.
That was true. Now, the way it's worked now is it's illegal for you to drink on the base, but if it's illegal off base, well, it's one of the slippery slopes we have. It's a weird slippery slope. I'm telling you. That's what happens.
Well, I just wanted the confirmation because I may have been misremembering a story that my dad told me.
No. So. Yes, that was not uncommon for people under the age because my dad was and I don't remember when the age changed from 18 to 21. but he was 18 when he joined, and we were in Germany. So, yeah, he was able to drink off base.
No, this was, if I remember the story correctly, he was heading back to his carrier from the States and had a bunch. Remember, he was a Master Chief. And he had a bunch of basically raw recruits that were traveling with him. They weren't under his command or anything, but they were traveling with him. Also to the Gulf, the Persian Gulf. And he took them all out drinking while they were waiting in Germany.
My father wasn't even 21.
Story.
My father wasn't even 21 when he was stationed at Pearl Harbor, when he was drunk at the bar when the bombs dropped. He was born in 23.
Your dad or your grandfather?
My father was born in 1923. He wasn't even 20 when the bombs dropped in Hawaii.
Dang, how old is your dad?
He died at 92.
Oh, we lost NB. Because my grandfather, both my grandfathers served in World War II, one in Pacific, one in the Eastern. And my grandfather, who was in the Army, in the European theater, he passed away at 87. So, and that was, oh God, I want to say about 13 years ago.
Damn.
So my grandfather was born the same year, about the same year of as your dad.
Yeah, he was assigned to the Utah.
Yeah, I don't know much about my that grandfather's stuff in World War II. He didn't really want to talk about it as much.
That was one of the main reasons why I went to that Smith's bar in Pearl Harbor. Like, that's where my father was. That's all I wanted to go there. I think I had the exact same stool.
I figured with the middle finger, I knew it was you.
Yeah, man, I don't know what it's been going on with StreamYard, and it's only seems to happen so often. I don't know what's going on.
Not a CNA stream unless something happens, man.
I don't know, maybe I got a gremlin in there or something.
Talk to Bill.
No, just don't feed it after midnight.
Talk to William Shatner, man. He dealt with one on a plane, okay? Or Robert Picardo. He used to marry one.
Well, since Dandyland's in the chat, Dandyland, I finally started watching Only Murders in the Apartment, or in the building.
Selena Gomez, Steve Martin.
Yeah, I watched, I think, the first 4 episodes, and yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it. I wish, though, they had an accompanying podcast for each episode, like actual podcast, though.
That is something I do like about that show Shogun, when I get to watch, after the episode, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. And oh, by the way, I did finish Penguin. I am going to say I called it. Because
you called what?
I called what was going to happen to Vic. I absolutely called it from episode 1.
Oh, for Penguin?
Yeah, for Penguin.
Did you finish the series?
Yeah, I finished the series. Yeah, I did.
Told you it wasn't Zaz. Told you it wasn't Zaz. But did you like the ending?
I would have liked it better if he became Zaz.
Yeah, but it was more likely in his central character when he just held on to him. Not just killed, but he actually held on to him. It's like, a little comfort here. Yeah, but you gotta go. Yeah, there was a little teary emotion there in Colin's character. It's like he had to kill him, but he didn't want to. That's why he held on to him so long. I love that.
Penguin's on the HBO Max or whatever it's called now.
I just call it HBO. I still call it HBO because it still says, even though it says Max on there, it pops up. It's still the HBO screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, on my Flexbox HBO.
if you look at the undertones of the entire show, you know exactly why Oz did that. If you really look at the undertones of the show, and I mean, it's one of those shows, and this is what I've been telling people, is like, unfortunately, they made too many damn shows for people who just like, what, explosion? What? Okay. No, you actually have to be paying attention to what the hell's going on. Now, what he did.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Dandelion. Did your wife hit you?
God, I've been wondering if anybody was ever going to ask me that.
You ran into a doorknob, right? Yeah, that's a doorknob.
I'm too big to run into a doorknob. No, actually, no, I kid you not. True story. I was leaving my wife's room to go to bed, and I fucking fell, and I just hit the damn floor. And the way I hit it, my eye went down first. And I figured I was going to have a black eye. Hey, I'm just glad it wasn't. I'm just glad I didn't break my fucking nose like I thought I did the last time that happened.
Well, it is big enough.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised you fell eye first and not schnoz first.
Actually, one time I did fall schnoz first, and I was like, first thing I did was I started checking to see if it was broken.
Well, I've broken my nose so many times. I now can crack the cartilage between the bone and the cartilage.
Ow, dude.
Yeah, what basically happened?
So basically, you're like this.
Yeah.
Ow.
So basically,
I can only do it once, like every couple hours, because I got to build up the bubble of oxygen or air that builds up.
Nitrogen.
Thank you. Yeah, I can. Here, let's see if I can even get it to go. Sorry. Let's see if we can hear it.
I can pop my elbows.
I don't know if you guys heard that.
Nope. Yeah, I just pop my knuckles, my elbows.
Well, Dandelion says she hopes you're okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just bruised right now. That's it. No, I wasn't drunk or anything, because that's always the question I get asked after the what'd she do?
Okay.
Well, you know what's funny about that gorilla is no one has broken my nose in over 25 years. All that happened was back when I was a young teenager. So yeah.
Remember that key theme in Lethal Weapon series where he could dislocate a shoulder when he needed to?
I can do that too, but that's because of old football injuries.
He's like, I can dislocate my shoulder, and that's how he gets out of the straight jacket.
Unfortunately, that's not necessarily how it works.
No, you don't dislocate your shoulder for that. Your elbow and your wrist helps before your shoulder.
Yeah. But what's really funny is I can't remember how old I was, but it was during one of my checkups. The doctor was checking my heart and everything, and I said, "Hey, put your stethoscope here." And I pointed to my shoulder, and he's like, "Why?" I said, "Just do it." And I started dislocating my shoulder back and forth. And he was like, "Oh God, that sounds disgusting," because he's like, "It's crunching. I can hear it crunching." So yeah, but if you're just watching me, it just looks like I'm moving my shoulder back and forth, but I'm actually like popping it out of the joint, popping it into the joint, popping it out of the joint, popping it into the joint.
I have a question for Dandelion. Did you guys select a new prime minister, or however your parliament does it, or do you only have an interim one right now? Yeah,
not until the new party gets elected. That's when Trudeau will step down.
I don't know when their election is. I tried to look into
Unfortunately, I'm like most Americans. I don't know enough about Canadian politics. I tend to just ask a Canadian, or in this case, Dandelion.
Yeah, basically, that's what I do. If I want to know Canadian politics, I'll ask a Canadian about it, because I don't know shit about it. I mean, Dude, our politics is crazy enough. Oh, by the way, how bad's the devastation with the fires, guys? I know, like,
14%.
Their estimate,
14%,
last estimate
I
I
think.
saw it was that it was going to make that the damage done has been about 5% of our GDP.
That's about 300 billion.
hola, Mrs.
And
Godinez.
Hola, Mr.
anyway,
Cardenas.
good morning from a country that hasn't banned TikTok, which is funny because now I can go back to TikTok when I'm down in Mexico.
Get a VPN, people. Shut the fuck up.
Some
have a
phones are not
VPN.
compatible. Some phones cannot use a VPN, dude.
Yes, my cell phone can. Haha.
I said some cannot.
But what's weird is why doesn't the hold on, Elihu? I have Nord. Why doesn't Nord work with Movies Anywhere or Tubi? Not Tubi. Pluto.
Wait, Nord doesn't work on Pluto?
It doesn't for me. Not on my phone. It Tubi works, and you know, YouTube. A lot of things will work, but not Pluto and not Movies Anywhere.
I can get those on my phone without Nord.
I'm talking about when I'm in Mexico.
Oh, I don't know why.
I thought you would know that.
No, I don't.
Seriously, there are other ways to do
I
it.
just know that I saw a couple of people who live Wisconsin on the border, and their TikTok is banned. I'm like, they're in Canada technically, and they cannot access their TikTok.
Probably
That's
because
weird.
of probably because of where it's connecting to.
Probably.
But anyway, I already checked up on this one because my wife's been freaking out about it, and I've been like, I'm like, I don't care. And I've been seeing people freak out about it. I'm like, get a VPN. I'm like, get a fucking VPN, people. Use a computer, use a tablet, use something other than your phone. You know, I'm sorry, but this is how it works for being in the Marines like I was. It's called you adapt. Or you can sit there mope and bitch about it like sailors would.
Hey, fuck you.
All right, so Mrs. Vile saying she only watches something there when I send her something. And what's funny is I'm only on there because all three of my daughters are on it. And now that they're not on it, I have no reason to go to it anyway.
Never had a TikTok.
Okay.
And she says a federal election will happen later. That's when everyone gets to vote for their local MPs. If a different party gets the most seats, then that party's leader becomes prime minister.
Okay, so that's how their parliamentary system works, similar to the one in England. Some parliamentary systems work differently. But like I said, I can't keep up. You know, I keep up with enough of our own politics. I can't keep up with other countries. I try to learn about UK politics. I was like, okay, screw that. I'm like, how is
Well,
the country?
it appears that Canada and the UK have a similar parliamentary system.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm aware of that.
That's how Boris Johnson was elected, because the party voted him in, not the people.
Well, yeah, I'm familiar with how, like I said, in some parliamentary systems, they vote for the locals, the local leaders, and then they will select the prime minister. The prime minister is still part of the parliament, and they're considered the leader. Some parliamentary systems, they elect the prime minister.
Ratatouille, a TikTok musical.
I didn't even want to get on this.
I'll be right back. I need to Loja.
I've never even heard of that, and I'm scared, Daddy Lane.
Oh man, I gotta get these gaps in this room fixed, man. It's freezing in here. It's not even the coldest day. We had the coldest day that was like -3, but there was no wind. But man, I tell you what, when that wind picks up, it's freezing right now. And because of my side of the house here, I've got some windows and a vent that leak cold air in. So I got a space heater in the background. I got one of the vents covered up.
I'm sorry. What do you mean by -3? How do you get negative in the temperatures?
Huh?
Sorry, I live in San Diego. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean by -3?
I get your joke. Give me a second. What is this negative temperature you're talking about? Is that what it gets below? Is that when it gets below 50?
Oh God, it was 60. It was 60 degrees, and my daughters were complaining about it being cold.
You could always tell somebody was not. You could always tell a northerner in California because you're the guys all bundled up in 40-degree weather. We're the ones out in flip flops and t-shirts and shorts.
NB, you can ask Mrs. Vile. When everyone else is cold, I'm the only one who's not. We went out, Vile Style, and Turtle J went out with Mrs. Vile one time, trying to watch the Parade of Lights. We had to leave because everyone else was cold, and they had stolen all my jackets.
The reason for that is in the chat.
Not necessarily.
All right.
And I'm okay, Revan. Hawaii's north of the fires. I'm south of the fires. That's what that link was. I assumed that's what it was, Dandelion. But I might watch that, or I'll send it to Katty, see if she's seen it first.
Dandelion, it's all cloudy right now.
All right, Mike, how far are you guys actually driving distance away from each other? Like, for example, there's a couple people I know. Like
8.5 hours. 8.5 hours.
I was going to say 8 hours, but yeah, I'm about 8 hours from him.
Yeah, 8.5 hours.
Because, like, I know two people that, like Deej and the ambassador, and I'm like 2 hours away from them if I want to get together.
Why?
Revan's asking about your eye, NB.
Hit rewind.
Just hit rewind. I'm not going through the story.
Let's just say he's learning not to talk back to his wife.
Let's just go with that. Come on, that's what everybody thinks anyway. I might as well just play it up. Now it's 2020.
Yes, because remember, domestic violence against women is not funny. Domestic violence against men is funny.
Yes, because he got his ass kicked by a little wet noodle.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna tell you right now. Let's keep those jokes to a minimum. You got to remember, I am a male DV.
I know that, dude. You always talk about your skinny little small wife. I've seen her. I've talked to her. She's a little wet noodle, dude. Come on.
No, not her. That wasn't her who did that. That was my ex.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
I thought you meant don't talk about your wife. I'm like, she's a skinny little wet noodle, dude.
And how about this? How about we make it a masturbation joke? You went so fast you slipped and hit yourself in the face.
There you go. I like that.
All right, that's the official reason for NB's black eye on the Vile Mike YouTube channel is it was a masturbation accident.
I thought it was like you weren't paying attention. You just shut in your eye, man.
And yeah, my 2025 has been very annoying so far. Already, the company that owns the parent company of the company that owns the company I work for is cutting down on any and all overtime, which is pissing me off because they keep scheduling me for 60 hours, then telling me not to work any overtime, and then trying to transfer as much of my work to other people to handle so I don't work overtime, them saying at the last minute they can't do it, and then I end up working Saturdays and getting 5 hours of overtime because no one can handle my workload. It's happened every week so far, at least in one way or the other. And now my company's like, well, we'll go ahead and piss off our clients instead of getting overtime. I don't understand that. Then we're going to lose clients.
Yeah. Generally how it works. Sorry to hear that, buddy.
Oh, man, I'm sorry, man. How, do you mind if I ask how sudden it was? Because if it was, I remember when my dad passed, it was because he had a heart attack while he was on his motorcycle and ended up getting into a motorcycle accident. So that's what ended up, killing him.
We had a similar story like that. I was about to leave out of and this isn't family related, but I was coming out of my cul-de-sac and the cops had the entrances and exits blocked. And I saw a car there by the tree with the tarp over it, which we all know what that means.
Yep, unalived.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
I'm definitely sorry for your loss, Revan.
Yeah. So what happened was the lady, she had a heart attack, and the sad part is, if it had happened earlier or a little bit later, she'd have probably have not died from the accident. But where she hit was the entrance to my cul-de-sac, and there's a big ass fucking tree there, and she slammed it head on. So she jumped the corner. So during the heart attack, she jumped the corner and slammed straight into it. So I'm pretty much figuring DOI. My grandfather had a motorcycle and got rid of it after he wrapped himself around a tree.
Too much death and destruction. What did you guys think of the last episode of Skeleton Crew?
All right. Just for Revan's dad. Shot of Irish whiskey just for Revan's dad.
Bushmills.
No, Elihu, I haven't seen the last few episodes of Skeleton Crew. I was really kind of pacing myself with the Penguin because I was just like, I don't want to binge this. I kind of want to just savor it. I don't know if anybody does that anymore, but sometimes it's like, okay, there's a show you can watch, you'll binge it. But then there are some shows you're just like, okay, I want to take time to process what happened in that episode before I move on to the next one.
Yeah, Three Body Problem. I was going to binge them like, wait a minute, let me just watch the next day. Okay.
Yeah, that was the thing with the Penguin.
Sorry, I'm reading Jordan's comment.
One of the things Elihu was.
Sorry, hang on a second. Jordan, the coldest I've ever been in was minus 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Coldest I've ever been was, and I don't know what the temperature was, but it would have been in what was then known as West Germany.
Yeah, I was at the Arctic Circle. It was fucking freezing up there.
I don't know.
I did see the.
I don't know how cold it was, but one of the times I went camping with my grandfather out in Texas was one of the only Christmases that we were out there, and I remember it was like a week before Christmas, and we go camping. We're supposed to be going hunting, but we ended up getting virtually nothing other than rabbits. But when we woke up, there was about 2 inches of snow covering me because the wind blew over my lean-to. So I don't know how cold it was, but I slept while being buried in snow.
Fun.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, so why people complain about the cold?
But yeah, I
It's
mean,
winter.
when it came to it's like we say over here, you guys, we're like, people say it's not the heat, it's the humidity. Oh, it's a dry heat. Well, simply here for us, it's like, oh, it's not the cold, it's the fucking wind chill.
Yeah, I grew up in dry heat, okay?
That is one thing I did like about being in California was the dry heat. I like the fact that when the sun went down, it got cold. And I'm like, it was like, no, the sun would just go down and all of a sudden you feel like 10 degrees dropped.
Yeah, I know.
That's because we're technically a desert.
Yeah.
Southern California is mostly desert. We got forests too, but we're mostly desert.
Actually, California, when you look at it, one of the advantages of it is it's kind of got a little bit of everything. When you really think about it. That's one of the advantages of going to somewhere like California.
Yeah, I don't think people realize like how much wheat and corn is actually grown in California.
Yeah, that's the Inland Valley by Sacramento. They can go to the mountains, go snowing. You can go to the beach and go skiing, surfing, all in the same day.
You actually can. You go to the Sierra Nevada mountains, go skiing, and then go to the beach.
What the hell was that?
Notification for Blue Sky.
Get you copyright striked.
That's notification for Blue Sky.
Yes, definitely, Dandelion.
Oh, dry cold, yeah. Oh man, so we had a little bit of rain, so the snow's been dissipating, but I've had to pop the vehicle in, and this is why I bought a Jeep. So I could have that 4-wheel drive. And man, I was trying to back up out of my driveway this morning, and it's because it's iced up there. I was like, I started backing up and swerving. And I'm like, oh fuck this, popping in 4-wheel drive. It's like I don't have to deal with this bullshit.
Well, hey, is not Ryan Johnson watching? Because I don't understand that little gift you replied to. Yeah, I'm like, it's true, but what the hell, dude?
What are you talking about?
He just replied to Blue Sky when I posted your pictures. Like, yeah. Okay. So that's Ryan Johnson. That's not Ryan Johnson for you.
Yeah, I'm also curious about why am I so white in those?
Because this is the AI program that I was trying to use. Like I said, it made you an Asian guy, it made you a black guy. I'm like, no, not Asian, white guy. Then all of a sudden it came up with a white guy like that. I'm like, oh, come on. So I tried Caucasian, Asian.
How white did they make him?
I look like a ghost.
Let me show you that picture. I will show you that picture. Okay, hang on.
I look like Baymax from Big Hero 6 with a beard.
Yeah, hang on a second. One moment. Let me show you. I'll send it to you. Okay, hang on.
Yes, people who don't know this, there are different shades of white people.
Here's one of them.
Well, I'm a white person that tans. So what's funny is there are times I'm darker skinned than my kids or Mrs. Vile.
I've got the olive skin kind of whiteness, so yeah, I'll tan, and my ex-wife was so pale, man, she burned. You know those pale white people that just burn no matter what? It is like
and two of my kids are like that. They burn, they don't tan.
Yeah. And you got to worry about the worst part about that is you got to worry about that too, because if you're not too careful, you'll be out in the sun. Next thing you know, you're gonna come back with blisters on your shoulders.
Yeah, Revan actually is a mirror. I don't know if people realize that.
I'm sorry, I was reading. What were you saying?
I said most people don't realize is Revan is a mirror.
Oh.
He's so white he reflects it.
Blinded by the lights.
Yeah, just to
Like a
cross more
douche.
easily, right? Yeah. Except while I'm in line, the people at the border will, throw eggs at the car or something.
No, as far as I know, they are like, fuck this, we're out of here.
Houston, 104-degree heat for a week and got whiter. Wow.
Dude, what were you hanging out in the shade? That's cold.
I think the hottest it got when I was in California at my work was about 115.
I think it was like 127, 128 in Phoenix one time with the hottest when I was a kid.
I remember sending images to Mrs. Vile one of the times I was in Arizona and just watching the temperature gauge 107, 108, 109, 111, 112.
Then noon hit.
One of us, Vato. One of us, Vato. One of us, Vato.
One of us. One of us.
I was making a joke with adding the Vato.
I know.
But that was what I was referencing. Or should I say, Juan of us. Juan of us. Juan of us.
You beat me by 1 second.
At least I know how to say, hey,
Damn you. Damn you.
Hey, I know how to say my name in Spanish.
Sorry, say that again?
I said, one thing for certain, I know how to say my name in Spanish.
My middle name and last name is Hispanic.
No, the translation is, my first name being Jesse, it's, Jesse. Because I know the J is pronounced with an H sound. And again, I got to get back to learning Spanish. I really enjoyed it.
No, my full name can be translated. So in Spanish, my full name is Esteban Miguel Sobra de Calle.
You practiced that, haven't you?
Yep.
My middle name means River of the Wolf or Hidden River.
God damn, 114. I didn't know Canada could get that hot.
Jeez, it's only 47 degrees right now.
Thing is Spanish. Yeah, it's shit.
I'm not translating that.
You don't have to.
I just saw that.
You don't have to. I know what he said.
Madre.
He wants to be an idiota.
Well, if you want to translate your screen name, in real life, is already an Irish name of an English name. You would just be N.A. Bay Gringo.
I can work with that. So I saw that. Oh God, where were we going? We were talking about the penguin and the fires. God, we can never stay on topic around here.
Nope.
So anyway,
I'm sorry for laughing about that, Dandelion.
So
oh God, that made me laugh so hard I started coughing again. Wow, I'm so sorry.
So I saw that it was kind of A lot of it consolidated. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. Somebody's going to have to explain that region because, look, I was in NorCal for 7 years. I did not. The only time I was in LA was when I was leaving. So the area where these fires are at, I saw on a map, it's like kind of a concentrated 5-mile area or something like that. They started within a 5-mile area of each other.
For the most part, yeah.
So I don't know anything about those neighborhoods. They're talking about some rich neighborhood that burned to ground. I don't know what the fuck it is.
There's a couple of richer, I say richer, but like top 10% communities that have burned down.
I found out last night Carrie Eulis's house burned down.
Who?
Men in Tights.
Oh, Carrie Eulis. Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Too much shit.
So I heard from this lady too. I was watching watching some local stuff because I prefer to hear from, people on the ground. And one lady was like, this is her second home that's been burned down. And the reason she was in whatever that area is that's burned to the ground was because her home in Malibu burned to the ground.
Oh, no, your second home burned down. I feel sorry for your second home being burned down.
No. This was just a regular person. They had a place in Malibu. They said that emergency services did not get the warning out. She was recovering from cancer, sick. So her house the house in Malibu burned down, I guess, during another fire. So that's why she moved to wherever the hell that is. And she thought, well, I've dealt with this once before, But apparently she had to have a friend. A friend was calling her because the alerts weren't going out. And she's recovering from cancer and was sick. And she said if it wasn't for her friend constantly calling her, she'd probably be dead.
Yeah, some alerts didn't go out because it was damaged by the fire. Some alignment and the system was damaged by the fire. That's why some people didn't get alerts. It wasn't a mismanagement. It was fire damage.
I didn't say it was mismanagement.
I don't remember which one.
I just want to let you know why.
I just want to do a little bit of news update. I know there's a lot of speculation that's been going around. At least one of the fires appears to be created from electrical malfunctions from the power grid. So I don't know which one, but at least one of them was confirmed to be that.
And also clarification, yes, somebody has been spotted. Hang on. Yes, somebody has been arrested and spotted for starting a fire, but that's not the reason why the fire is so damaged. It's because of the 100-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, the Santana winds.
Yeah, it's not just because someone first started a fire. It's the winds that's causing the damage. Yeah, somebody got arrested. Thank you. But you can't. How can you stop the winds?
You can't. You can't send.
Exactly.
Well, you don't. We don't have any. You can't send firemen into that kind of condition. It's unsustainable, and you can't fly in that kind of condition. You're just risking more damage and lives of people that are. Look, there's almost no chance. But the one thing I will say is when I've been hearing about the LA thing and them talking about how the pumps weren't working, that's a concern in leadership.
Actually, no, it's not a concern in leadership. It's called multiple firefighters using multiple fire hydrants from the same water source. It's not one water source, another water source. It's the same water source being fed through multiple fire hydrants. That's why it ran out so fast.
Okay, what about this report about 4 reservoirs that were, I guess, contracted to be built, but haven't? I don't know how long ago that was, so I don't know when that contract was approved. I've heard it might be.
Nothing has been constructed or approved for the smelt for the saving of the smelt. I don't know why people are complaining about that because nothing has ever been constructed or started. Yes, money and land
All
and
right.
stuff was set aside, but nothing has ever started.
Okay, I'm just asking questions. You don't need to. You don't need to get so
Oh,
strong.
and why was the reservoir down for 11 months for repair? Jordan, you understand that some of those reservoir dams require up to 5 years for repair work.
Yeah.
It's not 11 months is nothing. And if you want to think about it like, oh, that seems like a really long time. That's because the cement takes a long time to cure.
Sure.
And for an example, there's wet cement that were at the Hoover Dam that still hasn't solidified from when it was built almost a century ago.
Hey,
Yeah,
give that
84
guy
years ago.
credit, man. If he hadn't came up with that idea, the dam wouldn't have even been built. That was a fucking genius.
And now when you're talking about the fire commissioner, you're talking about when engines come down, they have to be inspected before they go into service because a lot of these engines aren't designed to travel 200, 300, 400, 500 miles on the freeway in such a short amount of time. They have to make sure that when they get to the fire, they are in operating capacity. That's why they are held back so they can be made sure that they're not going to break down as soon as they get to the fire.
It was not smog inspection or smog failure,
Yeah,
thing like that. No.
It wasn't like a smog or anything like that. That's all ridiculous. It was just maintenance work to make sure that those engines were up and running and able to be worked after driving those distances.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I did read about from one of the local LA news sites or news outlets was they did point out there were a bunch of vehicles in maintenance, and they said, talking with the fire chief, that they've been begging for the money to get them repaired, and it just hasn't come that way. So while I understand this is a disaster, yeah, it's a huge one, but you can't just say, oh, there was no leadership failure.
Yeah. There may have been some aspects of leadership failure, but it's not to the extent that it's being portrayed as. A lot of what they've been doing is exactly what they're supposed to be doing in this situation, but they're in the earlier days of it, they were being more cautious because of, well, they were worried about what was going to happen. But that's not, I wouldn't consider that a failure per se. And if you want to imagine how much is burned, if you look at the country of Liechtenstein, that's the amount of land has been burned so far, just in Los Angeles. So if you want to think about that, yes, Los Angeles is bigger than Liechtenstein.
Imagine half of San Francisco got burned. That's a little comparison for you.
Yeah,
Howdy, Mercer.
I do not think it is beyond reason to say, okay, we need to do an audit and see if we've got some procedural issues we need to change and see if some people need to be held accountable. You can't just have a disaster like that and say it was just simply this, give me money. It's like, you kind of want to look at, any decent leadership would be like, okay, where'd we fuck up? Because that's the first thing when a mishap happens in the military is like things shut down and we start looking and it's like, okay, where was the fuck up?
Well, what you also got to remember, NB, is there are large swaths of California that are considered federal land. And the California Fire Management is not allowed to basically control those sections of the forestry because of that.
Yeah, I know you can't.
And at least two of the fires started on federal land.
Yeah, that was because I believe that was Roosevelt's restoration project, because he had gotten to see so much of America. He wanted to maintain its natural beauty, because he could see, we were really, building up, building out, and expanding.
Yeah. And Jordan, that's one of the things I was talking about is some of the land that's around, and you're talking about this dead brush in the forested areas, that is federal land, not California's land. And it's supposed to be managed by the federal forestry service. And the problem is it's not being done so. It's not being done so, at least to the extent in other areas of California. Now,
exactly. So do you see what I'm saying right there?
It was in that case, in the case of those two specific fires, that would be a federal issue, not a Cal Fire issue.
The simple fact is that means, and one of the things why the Department of Homeland Security, and I'm just using this as an example, was created was because we had services in our government agencies that did not talk to each other. It was kind of like a dick swinging contest. And after 9/11, It was kind of like, okay, we got to put a stop to this bullshit. So
the FBI needs to talk to CIA, vice versa. I understand that part. I agreed. Communication.
Yeah, exactly. And there needs to be communicate. If there's a problem with communication or authorities for federal versus state, then obviously they need to be addressed.
Yeah, I would say in the future, what we need is a united agency that can unite all the state level wildlife management services with a federal with the federal one, and the federal one needs to be fucking funded. I mean, if you want to look at and it's like see the Federal Forestry Service, see how many agents they have, it is far less of what it should be for the amount of land that they are supposed to be in charge of. I think it was like for the Federal Forestry Service, they have like one agent for every 200 square miles of forest. And I'm pulling that number out of my ass. Please don't quote me on that.
Look it up. What are they called? Are they called forest
rangers? Forest rangers.
How many forest?
Dandelion gorilla. That's why sometimes when I hear people say, I heard of somebody on the ground, I don't take that at face value, because people who are quote on the ground are not truly always truthful about the situation that's happening.
Well, one other thing, the United States Forest Service, fucking hate the internet.
Okay, look at all aspects.
All right, so the United States Forest Service employs around 300,000 people, including forest rangers. So even if we were to assume that every single one of those was a forest ranger, which we're not, we're going way out there for that. How many square miles?
One ranger per what? Three square miles.
Land. All right, so 200, almost 300 square miles. Or 300,000 square miles.
According to the...
So that's one every 7 miles. Right, one for every 7 square miles. Okay.
They've got 28,300 and something permanent staff, and then they have seasonal workers. But their budget... Jesus Christ, they only get, what is this right now?
Yeah.
Jesus H. Christ.
Yeah, that's why I said they need the Federal Forestry Service needs more funding. So let's say they have approximately 300,000, or sorry, they have approximately, hold on, 30,000 people working. And if we assumed that every single one of them is a forest ranger, which obviously they're not, and the approximately 300,000 square miles, that means every single ranger or forestry person is supposed to be covering 100 square miles of forest.
Which, of course, we know is not true because you have the administrative, secretarial staff.
Yeah.
And
So when I said I pulled that number out of my ass, I was probably closer than I thought I was.
So this is what I'm seeing. According to the 2001 physical budget, they only got 5.3 billion and then an additional 2 billion for wildfire adjustment, whatever the hell that means.
Cleaning and maintenance.
Well, they did a shitty job. By the way, that's the other
Well,
thing.
again, remember they can only work within their budget, and they as of right now. Okay, as of right now, hold on. The budget for 2025 is expected to be approximately $9 billion.
Gee, I wonder why. No, one of the things why I say I like the idea of Doge is because it's basically auditing. And this is where I was kind of thinking, this is where I'm thinking, okay, there needs to be some auditing in the management. Well, a lot of areas, but in this case, what were the things that could have prevented these wildfires from being worse? Now,
I'm sorry, NB. The very first thing that Dodge should have done was look at salaries from the government employees. Cut some fucking salaries. Then you go to the programs. This is called mismanagement of government. This is what he didn't do. He went straight to programs. Like, no, let's keep making it $230,000, $430,000 a month. Let's just cut this program instead. He didn't even look at salaries. He looked at programs instead.
Hey, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. That's why I said an audit. Because an audit, I mean, we did audits in the military all the time to find out, okay, where are we fucking up? We had inspections.
And hold on, to address Dandelion's comment, but yes, that particular reservoir, it was a good time. We were not expecting this to be the driest winter we've had in years. Southern California received only about 2 to 3% of our usual rainfall this winter.
Yeah, I heard about that. You had an extremely dry. Yeah, I remember I used to say in NorCal. Well, I remember I used to say in NorCal we had two seasons, hot and rain.
So yeah, that was one of the issues, and of course that issue is related to climate change, which I know a lot of people don't want to talk about, but that is one of the causes of this. The other cause was our seasonal Santa Anas. We get a large amount of hot wind blowing in from the east during these Santa Anas, and they dries out a lot of the land. Usually it's not a big issue during the winter, but this particular time, combined with the amount of lack of rain, and because of that lack of rain, a lot of the brush from the summer rains is now dry, and it became the perfect conditions.
And for people wondering why we're not using the ocean,
we are.
Yeah, well, we have to at times, but you got to be careful with putting too much salt on the ground. Too much of that salt water might damage some of
the salt concentration from the ocean water is not going to be that bad. Trust me.
No, if they run out of pool water, they'll go to the ocean.
Yeah, the salt content would not affect the land.
No, not nearly enough. No.
Okay, I'm just asking.
And no, Jordan. The salt concentration in the Pacific Ocean is not nearly enough to destroy any of the crop soil.
There's natural salts. There are natural salts in the forest. It adds to it. It's not damaging it.
Yeah, it's not even close to something that would be that damaging.
It's like putting a drop of blue iodine, blue food coloring into an Olympic swimming pool. No effect.
Yeah, it's going to be next to nothing.
Yeah, it's nil.
And remember, where does the ocean get its salt water from? Runoff from the mountains.
From the mountains, yeah. From land.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Well, we don't live in California. Like I said, even though I lived there for 7 years, I didn't, I'm not native, not by a long shot. So Yeah, I got to ask you natives the question since you both
I'm not a
live.
native. I'm not a native.
You're close enough.
Yeah, during those high winds, Dandelion is absolutely correct. It's very hard to scoop up the water during the high winds. In fact, what they got to do end up is using more fuel to fly further away from the fires. Because remember, the fires are causing themselves high winds, so they have to fly further away from where the fires are to get the water out and deeper in the ocean to come back, and that's it's costing more fuel to do that.
And in the
Yeah,
meantime, the winds are spreading the fire even further.
yeah. And once you hit bingo fuel, you got no choice. You got to turn back.
And the other thing is, I don't know if Dandelion has heard this or if anyone has heard this. One of the Canadian planes that Canada actually sent down to help us out
crashed.
Sorry, Jordan's comment just threw me off. Was actually hit by a civilian drone.
Yeah.
What?
So
Yeah.
So, be smart about what you're doing and stop flying your goddamn drones during this.
I don't have any drones and I'm not in California. So, what areas got affected? I mean, I saw on a map there were like 5 areas that I saw fires, but what's been the most impacted?
Probably the northwestern LA fires, because that was where a lot of the houses were.
Yeah, one of the things that happened when we had that tornado come through here last year was, this is mostly open farmland, but that damn thing went through 3 towns and hit the residential areas, almost like it was on a fucking mission. I mean, I actually looked at the satellite pattern of its path. I saw how close it got to my house. I mean, I knew how close it was to my house. We were all hunkered down in my room because it's the only room that doesn't have any. I can close all the windows and doors. Actually, I got 2 doors to make sure there's no windows. But man, it got so dark. I've been through tornadoes. I've seen them before, but oh my Lord. That thing was so close and so loud and so dark. And, I'm not going to lie. I was terrified as fuck. And it turned out it was less than a mile from my house. And it was so loud, I thought it was coming my way. That's how dark and how loud that thing was.
Yeah, each region has its own little issues to deal with, and California just happens to have the wildfires. And we've had the wildfires for thousands of years here. We've done what is it? What's the equivalent of ice drilling on land, Elihu? I can't remember the term right now.
Oh shit! Yeah. I'm having a mind fart right now. Sorry.
But we've done that in certain areas of California and seen like evidence of wildfires literally over 10,000 years ago. So yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Jordan, you people scare me sometimes.
Oh, I've done that during hurricane. There's a reason why they're called hurricane parties.
Yeah, you open all the windows, turn off the lights. Well, the lights are gonna be off anyway. And you just have fun.
Grab a beer, smoke a joint. And that's what my mom does.
Make sure you open all the windows.
My mom's been in Florida now since I was 5 years old, so she's been there 40 years now. So that's why I say she's native to Florida, even though she's born in the same town I was born in. Because like you, Eli, you spend enough time in one state, you might as well just be a native.
I know.
I mean, you get used to these things. I mean, I remember when I was down in Florida when Hugo came through. I remember Floyd, Matthew, the ones that scared the shit out of us. But, honestly, it's kind of like California where it's like that scene from Independence Day. It's an earthquake, not even a 4.0. Go back to bed.
Yeah, we call it a foot massage. Like last week when we had an earthquake, that was a foot massage.
Even still, Jordan.
Mine was an F3. They categorized it as an F3. Or
God, I remember being out in Texas, and where my dad lived, there was the tornadoes. Where my grandfather lived, there was the hurricanes. And of course, they're always like, "Well, why don't you move out here?" And I'm like, "I live in California. We have 3 seasons: spring, summer, and fall. I don't want to move to Texas where you got 5 seasons: spring, summer, fall, winter, and depending on the location, tornado and hurricane."
Well, they say everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah, that's why I love Whataburger.
Oh God, Elihu, my youngest daughter was like, when I picked her up on Friday, I asked her where she wanted to go for dinner, and she goes, "How about we go to Whataburger?" And I'm like, 1, like, how do you even know what Whataburger is? 2, the nearest one is like a 15-hour drive.
Yeah, locals call it Whataburger. Everybody else calls it Whataburger.
Whataburger.
It's Whataburger.
It's Whataburger.
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 What? It's a Big Mac cheaper.
Guys, we are never going to agree on certain ways to say things. Our accents will get in our way. We have 2 seasons, winter and road. I could believe that. That's why I don't live in big cities. I was always. No, I hate big cities. It's like they're doing construction here. They're doing construction here. I remember when they were making jokes on St. Louis Emo's commercials. This was a local pizza place. And it was like, so you think they'll ever fix repair 21640? And the old lady's like, in my lifetime? Because it's like they're always just working on the fucking roads. I'm like, do you guys actually ever fix these damn things?
Central California for you.
NB, there's a certain road that I have to drive on fairly often for my job. And it was covered in potholes, and the asphalt had been so bleached it was no longer black. It was just like almost a whitish gray. They finally they took like 3 weeks and working every night. They cut up the entire asphalt. They repaved the whole thing. They painted it perfectly. And I am not kidding. The day after they did all that, a tow truck drops one of the hooks and tears a gash 3 miles long in the brand new asphalt.
Why the fuck would someone do that?
I guess they didn't realize that the hook had dropped.
The cab's loud enough. I don't think they
hook dropping.
You got a loud cab. You got a loud cab, dude.
And the only reason, and I'm telling you this third hand, the person who told me that it was a tow truck was a homeless guy begging on the side of the road, who basically was like, he saw the whole thing. And he's like, yeah, I actually had the cops come talk to me about it and take a witness statement because they want to know what tow truck company or what vehicle it was. And I just told him it was a tow truck. And, there's sparks flying and a whole bunch of other stuff. And the guy doesn't seem to notice at all.
What was he drinking?
I don't know if he was drunk or not. He didn't tell me that. But
no, I'm not talking about the homeless. I'm not talking about the homeless guy. I'm talking
I know.
about.
I figured you were talking. I figured you were talking about the tow truck driver. I don't know. The funny part about it is, I was wondering if it was my brother for a second because he was a tow truck driver before he got arrested again. And but then I remembered, oh yeah, he's in jail, and two, he got fired from being a tow truck driver because he backed over a cement wall.
Everybody's got that.
Yeah,
uncle.
apparently in his rearview mirror, my brother couldn't see a 10-foot tall cement cinder block wall.
Oops. Hey, it could happen. Big world.
But on a slightly happy note, I did get my van back, so now I've got a second. I got two vehicles again.
Yes, and it's parked down by the river.
Nope, right now it's parked by the baseball fields across from the mobile home park I live at. So I might turn it into like a recording area because I'm going to use it as a backup vehicle.
Broadcast
Only
van.
because, well, the new minivan I got is one, as I said, it's a minivan. It's like when all the seats are up, I got like a foot of trunk space.
Oh, like
but
a Mini Cooper.
yeah, it can seat 8 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, but it's small.
Dandelion, this is what drives me nuts when I read British authors, because they do that and I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck am I reading here?
Colors, neighbors. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
They're still
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, it's like, oh, that's right. I got to remember it's a British writer I'm reading. Because I've had times when I first did that and I was like, what the fuck does this say? I was like, wait a minute, what? I was like, oh. I'm like, why'd they spell it wrong? Then I found out, well, I don't know. I guess we spell it wrong. I don't know.
We spelled knife with a K. I spelled phonetically with an F.
I thought it was so funny when I saw this thing with this, like, they were talking about our language, and this guy he was like, we
have the what?
Why is it
we lost you for a second, B.
Yeah, the quote, Loki. I'm listening.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Test 1. Okay.
We said yes.
It was like he was making jokes about those silent letters, and he's like, why don't we just, you know why we have it? Because it sounds stupid if you say it the other way. It's like if you said it actually how it would be, cut knife. It's like, how stupid would that sound? You know, for years I didn't know knife started with a K. I'm like, they're like, oh, the letter. I'm like, the letter's silent. I'm like, then what's the fucking point of the letter being in there?
Well, I was gonna say, was it a knife?
Yeah, he said some other ones too, but that one stood out to me. The one with knife. I forgot what other ones he said.
Elihu, you got to do it right. It's every letter or every C in Pacific Ocean is pronounced differently.
I forgot the ocean. Sorry, the word ocean. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of people need to realize that, Dandelion. And what's funny is I'll still be a curmudgeon when it comes to the slang my kids use.
Oh, please, you give me shit by the way I talk at times.
What did you accent? What do you expect?
Well, it could be worse. I could have a Valley Girl accent.
Oh, please, like, get it with the spoon.
Oh, I am so glad that both all the Vile daughters don't still do the Valley Girl bullshit.
Well, that's
Yes.
it.
Paul Rudd, didn't he do? There was like this real. I don't know the
Clueless.
movie.
Clueless.
Huh?
Clueless.
Where he's like, why are you talking like that? Why are you talking like that? This is how I talk. No, it's an affirmation. It's what rich people and people who don't care and teenagers do. He's like, you're not rich because you're working here at a Starbucks and you're obviously not a teenager. And then he finally gets her when she finally gives her full accent out, you know, her real accent. And he's like, she's like, you're an asshole. And it's like, yes, thank you. You're getting it now.
Okay, I don't remember that.
No, that wasn't included. I don't even know the name of the movie that happened in. It was with Paul. All I know is it had Paul Rudd in it, and I just got that clip, and I thought it was so funny.
I'm too stoned to look it up right now.
Well, I think it was the same movie where it's like, I'd like a large coffee. A what? A large coffee? Oh, he means a venti. What? A venti is large. No, venti is 20. Large is large. Huge is large. The venti means 20. So it's like, congratulations, you're stupid in 3 languages.
Role models. Okay, I actually looked it up. Is it from Role Models?
Mm.
I don't know. I never saw the movie.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I can't stand Starbucks is I had to go to Starbucks because there was no 7-Eleven near one of my job sites a while back.
Whatever happened to us goddamn 11?
It's like I'm like going in, I'm like, just give me a large black coffee, the biggest you got. Well, what size do you want? Large. And I'm like, I'm not using your guys' terminology. I don't go to Starbucks that often. Large coffee, room for cream. That's it. And I swear, the lady was confused, and I don't. It's like I'm a gas station. I get my coffee from gas stations. Well, 7-Eleven is not necessarily always a gas station, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
They have small, medium, large, extra large. That's it.
And super big gulp.
I don't think you can get big gulp in coffee.
Well, actually, you can. They just charge you for the iced coffee, and it's an extra $1.
Really?
Yeah. Basically they charge you for the cup, not the liquid.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I know a lot of people who go in and they just bring in their coffee mugs, and they're just basically paying for the refill price.
Yeah. I have a cup in my car that I use specifically for that.
Starbucks used to be able to do that until COVID hit. Then now they got the recyclable cups, the reusable cups they sell. But 7-Eleven still let you use their own cups.
During the hold on. To add on to what Eli was saying, during the COVID, if you brought in a cup, they would only charge you for the refill price, but you'd still had to get a new cup at most of the 7-Elevens I went to, which I thought was a great idea. It was a way of being, hygienic when it came to the COVID issue, and still being nice enough to charge people for the refill price, even if they're getting a new cup.
So one of the, one of the things Dennis Leary, and he talked about this back in the fucking 90s, was one of my favorite skits was like, let me ask you something. Can I get a cup of coffee, flavored coffee in this country anymore? I can get mochaccino, frappuccino, rappuccino, appuccino. What the fuck? He's like, I go into a Starbucks, they're wearing berets, they're writing haikus, and I'm like, yeah, give me a coffee. What flavor? Coffee! Flavored coffee! I'll shove that beret right up your ass, kid. Coffee doesn't need a flavor, it needs a cup. Maybe a little sauce in the middle, but that's it.
Like, I'm sorry. I wish they would actually wear the berets. I don't think they'd wear the berets anymore because I don't think they're allowed to.
Yeah,
I haven't been inside of Starbucks in years, so I don't know what they wear.
I used to go to this coffee place that I would drive by. It was a drive-through coffee place, but the women were dressed like strippers. So I was like, do I go to Starbucks or do I go through the drive-through with the hot-looking, stripper-looking women? I'm going through the drive-through.
Convenience. Yeah, here mainly the locals drink Pete's Coffee instead of Starbucks.
There was a coffee place near the Santee Library a few years back that closed down because there was an unwritten rule that if you put a 20 into the tip jar, the one of the baristas would flash you. But the reason they got shut, well, they shut it down because it was right next to the library where kids went.
Mm.
Tough shit. Kids, all they had to do was put a sign up that said 18 and older.
Well, as I said, it was an unwritten rule. But when it got they closed it down, and another coffee place took it over, and people were putting 20s in there expecting to get flashed, and they were like, "Oh, just thank you." It was kind of funny.
Were they flashing their tits or just flashing their bras?
The one time I saw it, it was full breasts.
Nice.
But I only saw it once, and it was when a friend of mine was showing me. He's the one who put the 20 in.
So wait a minute, they'll shut that down, but that crazy stuff that goes on during pride parades and all that crazy crap we see at different times with people during Mardi Gras.
Well, Mardi Gras is another state, and there's not much crazy pride stuff at libraries as much as people think there is, at least not at our libraries here.
No, I didn't mean at the libraries. I'm just making a general reference. I find that funny.
Yeah. In all honesty, I don't think breasts are a bad thing, so I don't care.
It seems that people complained when men do that, but nobody says anything about when the dykes on bikes go topless.
Oh, no, I said this before. They're like, he exposed his junk. I'm like, so what? They're like, well, that's disgusting. And I'm like, I've been to concerts where women flash their tits and take their tops off while their boyfriends are holding them up. I'm like,
Andy, I've told stories about my day job, and some of the times I've seen breasts. One of the times I can tell you, there was this black guy. He had a big ass cast on his leg, and the cast went all the way from his foot to his mid thigh, so he was not moving his leg at all, really.
Oh wow, one of those.
Yeah,
Been there, done that.
He grabbed one of the carts, the little electric carts that Walmart provides, but of course his leg is not able to be bent. So what he did is he put his leg on the handlebar.
Makes sense.
The problem is he was wearing basketball shorts with no underwear. So everyone looking straight ahead or straight in front of him had a perfect angle to see his big ass balls just hanging right there.
That's Walmart.
And I'm just like, okay, dude, you got to do something because everyone can see your balls. And he was just like, well, what do you expect? What do you want me to do?
Go to Housewares, get a towel.
I can't wear pants.
I don't know. Put some underwear on.
It was like, I can't wear pants with these freaking with this freaking cast. I can't put underwear over the cast because none of my underwear fit over the cast, and I can't walk without the cart. So what do you want me to do about it? And he was like,
Well,
he was old. Like, he was like gray, white haired. So he did not give a shit.
of course he didn't give a shit. Because he'd probably be like, dude, what are you doing looking at my old ass balls? That's where
Chocolate
I
salty
throw
balls.
it. I can see your balls. It's like, I'm fucking old. Why are you looking at my old hairy balls?
Well, for me, it was more of turning my card around and just seeing it right there.
Yeah, and now management can see it too because some employees have body cams.
But yeah, it was.
That's a
I
good
think I think that's the one time I've seen man balls at Walmart. I've seen man ass many times, but not man balls often.
Holy shit.
Oy vey.
I tell you what, some of the stories he has from Walmart, you know what? When they unban TikTok, you need to start doing Walmart stories.
I would, but there was a guy that already started doing those, and I felt I'd be copying him if I started doing those.
Yeah, we got to wait for Congress to overturn that ban.
What? Trump's already going to probably do deferment for 90 days. He's got a good...
A president cannot overturn a Supreme Court decision, only Congress.
Yeah, he can write an executive order, but it doesn't mean anything.
Okay, the Supreme Court only upheld the decision by the law that was implemented under the Biden administration, and China complied.
Yeah. And it wasn't China that complied. Remember, TikTok is not fully owned by the Chinese government. It is just affiliated with the Chinese government. It's actually not a Chinese company.
The Chinese affiliated company.
So, yes, they do share that information with the Chinese government per the Chinese government rules, but it is not fully a Chinese company.
No,
it's
China let some... Oh, God, let's not get on that. Because I'm going to be honest.
And if you want to realize how ridiculous it is, NB, do you know who else gives our information to China?
Everybody.
Google, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter.
Everybody.
The difference is the difference between the two is when it comes to Chinese affiliated companies or Chinese companies, they are required to just give it to China. Whereas when it comes to Facebook, Twitter, and everything else, they have to purchase it. That's it. That's the only difference.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean,
so yeah, it's not a big. I realize it can be used for propaganda, but let's face it, every social media network is used for propaganda at this point.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, we used to get briefings. I remember when I was at DIA, and one of the briefings the commander would get is the guy talking about what the Chinese were spying on, or whatever name they were going by that were hackers. But we knew they were in China. We knew exactly where they were. And we knew what they were called and everything. So updates because we had to make sure our security was set up. Make sure we
now when it comes to a government phone, like a military issued phone, I can understand them saying no social media allowed on that phone, period. I get that.
Yes, actually, that was a source of contention with when I was getting out, was people wanting to be able to access social media while they had a government issued phone. And it's like, no, this isn't your fucking personal phone. We had a guy who, and I remember this so well, son of a bitch went on a TDY, temporary duty assignment. And sometimes I'll say that, sometimes I'll say TAD. They're interconnected. Same thing. And he got issued a laptop, a government-issued laptop. Well, while he was there during his TDY, he downloaded porn on it and did not erase it. Well, here's the thing. When you return it, we go through and check, well, not my office, but another office goes through and checks all the logs and the files. And boom, they found the porn on there. And it's like, no, you can't do that shit on a government computer. Now, it wasn't illegal porn or anything like that. Boy, I got another story for that one.
All right, hold on. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to try to do something.
But yeah, I mean, you can't do that with government services. You need there has to be limitations. You still here, Elihu?
Physically or mentally? I was just reading something, an old tweet of Trump's. Sorry, I was just doing a little reading at the same time. Sorry, man. A little confused. I was a little confused here because 2020 wanted to ban it because it's compromised the American security government security systems. The Democrats said no. Then they said, "Oh, wait, you're right." Then all of a sudden, Republicans want to unban it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Trump said he's going to ban it, and now he wants to unban it. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Just because people make fun of you, it's like he says, has anybody noticed that everyone wants to go after and destroy TikTok due to trying to influence national security? When I wanted to say TikTok 3 years ago, I was in opposition for rhinos, Democrats, everyone else. They went to court after to stop me. Now they realize I was right. I have changed their tune. Sadly, I've been right about everything. About banning TikTok. Now he wants to unban it. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm a little confused about this.
It's a negotiation tactic.
No, it's called flip-flopping.
Nah, there's flip-flopping, there's negotiation tactics, and there's how much you really buy what you're selling. Like, for example, one of the things I notice is, people were complaining about who the rappers who are going to be at the inauguration, and I guess the big one everybody's mad about. Really
sorry, I just wanted to sorry for interrupting you. I was just trying to call Katty to see if she was awake yet, and she still didn't answer.
Okay. So one of the things I've noticed is people are noticing a shift in the winds, that other than certain really, really devout people who drink and swim in the Kool-Aid, a lot of these entertainers are realizing, okay, it was profitable back when we liked Trump before he ran for president. It was profitable to hate Trump during a certain time period. Now they're like, okay, it's not profitable to hate Trump now. So that's why you're seeing them do this stuff, because it's a business. And I think a lot of people forget that you have the music entertainment industry, it's still a business. And, unless you're just devout on you're going to die on a hill, you're going to shift where the market is. I mean, they're actors and celebrities. They're going to they're going to do whatever's popular.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm going to change the subject.
I was talking about rappers that are going to be at Trump's inauguration, and one of the things was people are mad at Snoop Dogg because what he said, and I was talking about the fact that a lot of young people are like, we did this. It's like, yeah, you need to remember this is still a business to them. So that's where it is. I mean, look at Dr. Dre. I mean, what is it? He's got the beats. Isn't that like something he made a shit ton of money off of?
And I don't know if they just licensed his name or not. But hell, even
Really?
Raycon. I mean, they've distanced themselves so far from it. But Raycon was originally named after Ray J, the rapper. You know, the one that did the sex tape with Kim Kardashian.
Mm,
So
long
yeah,
time ago.
so the company is still called Raycon, but I don't even know if they're, they distanced themselves so far from the original premise of being, the headphones made by him, with his name on them, that I don't think it matters anymore. Beats by Dre, I think, are the same thing. I don't think that. I know certain people that don't even realize that were originally created with collaboration with Dr. Dre.
I did know that. I actually did know about that, the collaboration between Dr. Dre and that.
But they used to be a client of the company I work for, and they don't even have by Dre on them anymore.
They
Really?
don't?
No,
Oh, they just
They
have the
have-
logo, right?
they have one model that still says by Dre. The rest of the models don't say that anymore. At least when it came to the 5 pairs of that they sell at Walmart.
See, I don't look at Beats very much because, it's just a simple fact they're expensive. But,
Yeah, same here.
well, I did buy my son some, and I'm not going to lie, the quality was awesome.
Oh, quality! I get the quality aspect. I mean, I've been selling and buying Turtle Beaches for so long. I stick with Turtle Beach.
Yeah, I know.
For the high end stuff.
I understand brand loyalty. I understand
So-
brand loyalty. I mean,
But when it comes to my personal use, I still stick to the cheapos.
oh yeah, I'll do the same thing, but I'm not gonna lie. The quality of them is very good. So he made a good product. Why? Because he moved on from just being a rapper to expanding out, being an entrepreneur. Kind of like Snoop Dogg did and so many others did.
Wait, why did I just get a text that said tap to reset your Instagram password?
Probably because someone's trying to steal your password.
But I can access Instagram.
Probably because someone's trying to steal your password.
I'll tell you one. Oh, I'm going to delude you real quick, but I'll tell you one thing. It's so funny how you have Snoop Dogg commercials with Martha Stewart, and they're toking it up together.
They're good friends.
Yeah, they are good friends. In fact, my wife's followed Martha Stewart's career as long as I've known her, and yeah, it's funny. My wife always says, "Man, I should have bought stock in Martha Stewart when she went to jail, because it's like she got more popular after jail than when she was in than before." And actually, the roast of Justin Bieber is kind of like capitalized on that.
Yep.
Yeah, it really capitalized on it. And I think my wife said that her daughter's the one who said, "You need to do that roast." Which was a great roast. But I mean, I love the fact that when he's like, "We got all these," I can't remember who it was, but he's like, "We got all these rappers up here, and freaking Martha Stewart's doing more time than all you guys combined."
Yeah, basically.
Now, I have not been hearing that much about Snoop. It's just people complaining that they pay a lot of money, now they are left out of luck. That's all I've been reading about.
Well, the only complaint I have about Snoop is you can't do a fucking Disney movie and still be a hardcore gangster rapper anymore. I'm sorry. Once you go Disney, you're not hardcore gangster no more. Sorry. That's all I got to say about it. Well, does he still make good music? Sure, why not? Will I still see him in concert if I got a ticket? Sure. Would I love to meet him in person? Absolutely. Hell, I don't even smoke weed, and I'd smoke a joint with him. But as far as I'm concerned, he's no longer a hardcore gangster rapper.
Just like Ice-T. Ice-T, right?
Did he do a Disney movie yet?
I think so. I know he's acting on some cop show, but
I know he's done Rick and Morty, which is technically owned by Disney, but I don't consider that a Disney movie or show.
Oh.
I
still follow Ice-T on X. Hell, he's still funny sometimes.
I know one person on what was it, Twitter, back when I was on there, said something along the lines of Ice Cube has played a cop longer than he was a gangster rapper. So that I could agree with.
Yeah. Hey, bye, Bob.
Well, if NB doesn't come back, I might end the stream a little bit early.
And I still cannot find that alternate clip for you. Sorry, I'm still looking.
Okay.
If I do, I'll send it to your email. Urgent. Buy something at SD Game Swap now. Links in the description.
Oh, wait. Sorry. I forgot. I got to do this one first.
Lack of caffeine in the system, man. Well, since we're waiting for NB to try to come back, as a reminder, if you have clear skies on Tuesday night, look up. You can see the planetary alignment. It should be a straight line, not horizontal, not vertical this time.
All right. Also, since I got the van back, it means I got my inverter back, which means I can start streaming from the laptop again.
Yay.
And that means I might try to do some more of the the Vial Vault streams again.
And Jeff Nerdy?
Well, I don't know if that's going to come back anytime soon on my channel. So.
Link is gone, he said.
All right, hold on.
I'll put it back in. Oh shit, it won't copy. Damn it, it won't copy.
Alrighty.
Yeah, well, that's the first for me. I actually copied it back in and refreshed it and actually let me back in. Normally I have to frickin'
They're not stars, they're planets, Jordan.
Oh, by the way, Elihu, thank you for sending me that stars link around the moon. We haven't had a chance to really get to enjoy all that yet, but yeah, the comments I sent you about seeing the moon like that. Now, I just got to get used. I'm going to be honest, do I need to look through a telescope like you look through a microscope?
Yeah, you got to stare. Take a while to enjoy.
No. I mean, just do I have to get my eye like right down there?
It depends on the individual person. You can actually have a couple millimeters away from the lens, or you can put your eye really close to the lens. Depends on the person.
It also depends on if you're wearing glasses or not.
Yeah.
I know when I had my telescope, if I was wearing my glasses, I had to get really close to the lens. But if I adjusted it just right, I could take my glasses off, see crystal clear, but my eye would be about 6 inches from the lens.
Depends on the person, dude. My Celestron, I have to take off my glasses. I prefer to take off my glasses when I use my Celestron. I mean, I'll keep my glasses on. Personal preference. I mean, Dandelion sent me a message the other night. He's like, "What's that bright dot in the sky? Is that Venus?" I'm like, "Yeah, right next to his Mars." And there he goes again.
I thought for a second he froze, but I couldn't tell for sure.
Well, you can tell your kid that there is a teaser for How to Train Your Dragon live action that was released this morning. It's a 60
I'll
second
let her know.
60-second
But
teaser.
if she's not here by the time I finish this cigar, I'm going to end the stream.
Okay.
Jeez Louise. Let me shut down the. I swear to God. I don't know
The
what's
program
going
you got
on.
running is messing with the StreamYard.
No. I don't have anything running besides StreamYards. I've had a. Let me double check here. Did I turn off all my porn? Yeah, okay, yeah, all my porn's turned off. Just had to be clear. But yeah, when I got to actually look through it with the telescope, seeing the moon that clear with my eye like that was an experience.
Yeah.
Just wait till you got a crystal clear night and you can see Saturn and actually see its rings.
Yeah. And the Jovian moons of Jupiter.
I could only ever get one of the Jovian moons.
Which one? Io or Europa?
Probably the largest one, I'm guessing.
Titan?
I thought Titan was Saturn.
Oh, sorry. You're probably looking at Ganymede.
I thought Io was the largest of Jupiter.
Io is the most volcanic moon.
Well, either way, whenever I looked at Jupiter, I could only ever see one of the moons.
And NB, the best time to actually look at the moon is not when it's full, because you got the full glare of the regolith reflecting, so you really don't get all the details. Look at it when it's a quarter to a half. That's the best time to get details.
Okay.
Well, I would say best when it's a waning gibbous.
I was trying to talk layman's term for him.
Well,
yeah, you got.
I'm sorry. Gibbous is when it's going from full to quarter or full to half. Whereas after it's the halfway point, then it's waning crescent.
That's why I was talking layman's term to him. I don't think he understood that.
And I don't know the technical term for the phases of the damn moon.
Yeah, when it's a quarter or half, that's a great time to look at details. You want to photograph it, do it when it's full. If you actually want details of craters and ridges, quarter to half.
So what'd you say about a volcanic moon?
Io.
Yeah, there's a couple of volcanic moons, but by volcanic, it doesn't necessarily mean magma. We're talking, at least one of the ones around Saturn is ice volcanoes.
Okay.
Where they spout, is it actual liquid? Is it water ice or is it methane ice?
H2O.
Okay, so it is water ice.
Gatorade.
And that is Enceladus, correct? For Saturn?
You are correct.
Okay.
We have free samples. All we gotta do is fly by. But no, they forgot they did not want to put the sponge attached like they did with the comet. No, stupid NASA JPL designers. Free samples. They ignored it.
What do you think, since you're, into space and the science stuff, what's your thoughts on with NASA versus the private industry? I've noticed there was a guy, other than Elon Musk, wasn't there another guy who was trying to do similar things? Besides Bezos.
The guy that owns Virgin Galactic.
Richard Branson. Yeah, his plane is actually in the Air and Space Museum, which I'm like, okay, that's a good tribute for a private engineer, for a private company. That's a good tribute for his plane there. I like that idea. They didn't expand on his porch or anything. They just talked about the mission he did. I'm like, thank you, NASA.
For one thing, I think that the nations of the world and the UN should get together and kind of turn the moon into something like Antarctica. Okay? What I mean by that is yes, you can use it for private research and stuff like that, but no weapons, no war, no private ownership of territory on the moon, other than like the actual buildings area where you're actually building stuff. Not you don't get to claim like the entirety of the moon or something like some bullshit like that.
Yeah,
Well,
people
that
are
was
already
one of
trying
the
to work
great.
on that right now, and they are already trying to figure out a time zone reference for Earth for the moon.
No, remember when that was the funny thing, and for all mankind, when you got the military out there, and it's like, what the hell are we supposed to do with a gun in space?
Yeah. What was that?
It's
Sorry, I
like
didn't see
that
that
scene from
comment.
yeah, it's like that scene in
Oh,
Armageddon. It's like, what are you doing with a gun in space?
idiots.
But weapons. We're not just talking about guns. We're talking about no missiles, no nukes, no anything like that.
Yeah, I get all that. I'm just saying, yeah, the whole thing is like guns in space. I mean, yeah, it's great on science fiction like Battlestar Galactica, but realistically, Eli, who's just giggling because it's like realistically, it's like it's impractical. That was the
It's
whole
not going
thing.
to
That was
fire
the thing.
because you have no oxygen to ignite that spark to let the gun fly, let the bullet fly. It's not going to work.
Well, Elia, you and I both know that there is bullets that you can actually have a self-contained
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking practical. Practical.
oxidizer.
I know practical guns. I'm
Well,
like, it's not
yeah,
going to
but
work.
practically, it's just impractical. I mean, it's fun in science fiction, but it is
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
when you see people, it is fun when you see those people like, what are we doing with guns in space? It's like, exactly. It's one
Oy.
of the things. I know it's just funny when you see.
Although
Like,
I
oh,
did
what are we
like
gonna do?
on not for all mankind, The Expanse, when they're using at one point where they're like out of fuel and they're using the rail gun
Oh
to
yeah,
move the ship,
momentum.
Yeah,
and
that was great.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
like,
great science.
at least they're using Newtonian physics correctly.
That's why I said The Expanse is the most scientific accurate show I've seen.
Well, even they knew they weren't going to get everything right, but boy, they were sure trying.
Yeah.
They were trying. They were like, we are trying to make this really, because what was one of the biggest things is they had to fly halfway there and then turn around and basically turn the ship around and do the deceleration process.
Yep. Yep.
hmm
The G-force physics too. I was like, boom. Thank you.
Yeah, you gotta watch out. Over 11, you start to you pass out, you're gone.
Yeah, and what was it like? There was a rocket that when it went out of control here on Earth, if they had a person inside of it at the time, that person would have experienced 120 Gs.
Yeah, liquefied instantly.
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah. I'm glad the only bad thing they invented that go juice stuff to prevent people from dying from going over at 12 Gs.
Yeah, but they did say that the juice was to prevent that, but they all knew
Yeah.
that there was a risk it could still happen. That's probably what was the
Sorry.
standard G, Elihu? Anybody remember what was it they did? Like, what was the standard G thrust they did?
Oh man.
It can't be more than 6 Gs because at 12 you can only last about 10 seconds before you'll pass out.
11 Gs.
Yeah.
Average human body can handle about 11 Gs, according to Blue Angels pilots.
That's
Yeah, even 11 Gs. God, I think a gravitron at most does about 6 Gs, and even then, it's not safe to go on there for more than like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I remember this program way back when I was a kid. And it was a program to kind of educate kids on the difference between Earth's gravity and other planets' gravity. And the point was, and then the whole thing was you'd pick the planet, and then the egg would drop, and you'd see how the egg would drop. You know, whether it would drop fast, whether it dropped slow, whether it would actually crack. You know, it was a visual representation of things like that. And it was.
Yeah, NB, there
Yeah,
is
kinda like-
back in the 90s. I stole a program to make my own game, but the game that I stole the program from, the physics engine was actually based on it was a basketball game where you played one-on-one basketball on different planets and moons of the solar system.
Oh, nice.
And so yeah, it was really fun because that's not the one I designed. I used it to create an air hockey game, which originally was supposed to be table tennis, but because I couldn't get the physics engine to work right, instead of the ball, instead of going when it went higher, it would actually become smaller, and I couldn't get that to work right, so I just turned it into air hockey. But again, that was because of the physics engines they used. But yeah, the cool thing about it was like at going from the Earth and then going to the moon, making a 3-point shot. It was easy from like all the way across the court. But then you go to Jupiter and you try to play on Jupiter and you do a 3-point. You try to do like a layup and the ball just falls like a brick.
Yeah, you want to drop an egg on Jupiter 6 feet, it'll drop in about half a second.
You know, that was
the only unrealistic part about it was like you jump. All the characters could jump like 3 feet regardless of what planet you were on. And I remember them like jumping on 3 feet on Jupiter, realizing that if you landed after jumping 3 feet on Jupiter, you'd break both your legs.
Oh yeah. That was one of the things I liked about the difference between the Earthers, the Martians, and the Belters was the different physical differences in how they talked about the gravity changes and how that affected, them when you see the Martians come over to come over to Earth, and then they get off and, they're having to experience they're having to experience Earth gravity, and it's like training. This is the thing that is where it comes down to, and this is where she had it. It's like you can train all you want in 1G gravity, but until you really experience it, it's a whole nother ball game.
Well, one of the things I liked best about it was the people who were raised in space. They were told when they got to Earth, don't look up. And the reason is because, imagine living in a box your entire world and then suddenly seeing open sky, nothing to contain the air around you. It was causing panic attacks in people. And that was so realistic to me because there was a time where I'm driving through frickin' Arizona and just the immense flatness of that area. There's no mountains anywhere. It was like, it felt claustrophobic and it was weird.
You go south of Casa Grande?
God, yeah, it was just weird.
Yeah, south of Casa Grande. Yeah, I love that area.
Now I can't, I'm thinking about all the times I drove through, the Midwest where it's all flat and you don't realize it because all the, there's so much plant life around. But when you're in this area of Arizona where there's no plant life other than the occasional saguaro cactus, or the highest bush is like a foot or 2 feet off the ground, you just see there's nothing around.
Love it.
I hated it.
I loved it.
That's why I like the California hills. Come on.
I loved going to Casa Grande as a kid because it was a day drive. It was going through the desert. I'm like, I loved it.
Well, not only, don't forget this too, if a belter came to Earth, the gravity of Earth could kill him. Remember, they did that torture scene where they had the guy basically laid up on a cross because he can't fucking move. That's why they got to put him in tanks. And
special braces.
Yeah, and I just thought that was really well done. You know, I mean, especially Eli would tell me how realistic it is from his expertise in this department. And I was just like, shit. I mean, that's why the show was so good. It's too bad.
All right. Well, we've been going for 2 hours. Katty never showed up. But to celebrate her birthday, I think we should go with the Klingon drinking song. What about you guys?
Sounds good to me.
She's 21, so yeah.
Hail the Klingons, hoorah! Hejim tave deja I, ejam sotas gos vaskrar baitik, empajaj la mojaj puj, jaj keles molo nichok chu. Ooh.
All right, you're 19 years old now. I figure it's about time you got one after all your complaining.
All right. I'll see you guys next week. I might try to do a Vile Volt stream sometime this week since I got the van back.
Yay.
Later, folks.
Later. Peace and love.
Later, weirdos.